Hey guys, Miss Boyd here. It was great to see you all this morning. We had 30-some people on the Zoom conference again, and that was wonderful. And we got to have Miss Shores join us again this morning. So it's nice to see the new faces and have the old faces and see all the kids there. And we're really proud of all the work you all are doing and submitting to us. And man, the drawings, the journaling, the zoo project, you guys are just outdoing yourselves now. I know that we still need you to check on those IXLs and the clever stuff, the Mayan. Get on there, use those tools to keep going. Don't slack off. Now, when we pick up today, we're going to continue with Via's part of the story. When we left off yesterday, we had learned that Gran had told Via that she was her favorite grandchild. Oh, and Via was like, oh my goodness, because grandmas aren't supposed to have favorites. Now, Via also kind of got to see Augie in a different perspective. She saw him the way other people saw him. She didn't see him the way she'd always seen him before and all that. So it's kind of different now, and she's got this other perspective about what Augie really does look like. So let's take a little further look into what Via's feelings are about seeing August now. The next chapter we're going to be reading is August Through the Peephole, and it starts on page 88. His eyes are about an inch below where they should be on his face, almost to halfway down his cheeks. They slant downward at an extreme angle, almost like diagonal slits that someone cut into his face. And the left one is noticeably lower than the right one. They bulge outward because his eye cavities are too shallow to accommodate them. The top eyelids are always halfway closed, like he's on the verge of sleeping. The lower eyelids sag so much they almost look like a piece of invisible string is pulling them downward. You can see the red part on the inside like they're almost inside out. He doesn't have eyebrows or eyelashes. His nose is disproportionately big for his face and kind of fleshy. His head is pinched in on the sides where the ears should be, like someone used giant pliers and crushed the middle part of his face. He doesn't even have cheekbones. There are deep creases running down both sides of his nose to his mouth, which gives him a waxy appearance. Sometimes people assume he's been burning in a fire. His features look like they've been melted, like the drippings on the side of a candle. Several surgeries to correct his lip have left a few scars around his mouth, the most noticeable one being a jagged gash running from the middle of his upper lip to his nose. His upper teeth are small and they splay out. He has a severe overbite and an extremely undersized jawbone. He has a very small chin, and when he was little, before a piece of his hip bone was surgically implanted into his lower jaw, he really had no chin at all. His tongue would just hang out of his mouth with nothing underneath to block it. Thankfully, it's better now. He can eat, at least. When he was younger, he had a feeding tube. And he can talk, and he's learned to keep his tongue inside his mouth, though that took him several years to master. He's also learned to control the drool that used to run down his neck. There are considerable miracles. When he was a baby, the doctors didn't think he'd live. He can hear, too. Most kids born with these types of birth defects have problems with their middle ears that prevent them from hearing. But so far, August can hear well enough through his tiny cauliflower-shaped ears. The doctors think that eventually he'll need to wear hearing aids, though. August hates the thought of this. He thinks the hearing aids will get noticed too much. I don't tell him that the hearing aids would be the least of his problems. Of course, because I'm sure he knows this already. Then again, I'm not really sure what August knows or doesn't. What he understands and what he doesn't understand. Does August see how other people see him, or has he gotten so good at pretending not to see that it doesn't bother him? Or does it bother him? What do you all think? Do you think it bothers him, judging from what we've read so far? I'd say it bothers Augie. When he looks in the mirror, does he see the Augie that Mom and Dad see? Or does he see the Augie that everyone else sees? Or is there another August he sees? Someone in his dreams, behind the misshapen head and face. Sometimes when I look at Grans, I could see the pretty girl she used to be underneath the wrinkles. I could see the girl from Ipanema inside the old lady walk. Does August see himself as he might have looked without the single gene that caused the catastrophe of his face? I wish I could ask him this stuff. I wish he would tell me how he feels. He used to be easier to read before the surgeries. You know, that when his eyes squinted, he was happy. When his mouth went straight, he was being mischievous. When his cheeks trembled, he was about to cry. He looks better now, no doubt about that, but the signs we use to gauge his moods are all gone. There are new ones, of course. Mom and Dad can read every single one, but I'm having trouble keeping up. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to keep trying. Why can't he just say what he's feeling like everyone else does? Is it always easy to say what we're feeling? Sometimes it's hard to put into words what we think or what we feel. Sometimes it's just easier to keep it to ourselves and not let it out there. And we don't have to worry about what other people say about us when we share our feelings. Now, can that be hard sometimes? Is that difficult? Should we let our feelings out? I don't know. I think maybe it's a good thing if we do share our feelings with other people sometimes. But I get it. Sometimes it's just easier not to. He doesn't have a trach tube in his mouth anymore that keeps him from talking. His jaws are not wired shut, and he's 10 years old. He can use words. But we circle around him like he's still the baby he used to be. We change plans. We go to plan B. We interrupt conversations, go back on promises, depending on his moods, his whims, his needs. That was fine when he was little, but he needs to grow up now. We need to let him, help him, make him grow up. Here's what I think. We've all spent so much time trying to make August think he's normal that he actually thinks he is normal. And the problem is, he's not. Now, when I listen to Via tell this side of it, it sounds like Via is tired of dealing with Augie and his issues and his problems. Is it that she doesn't love him? No. But sometimes, gosh, we just need to help people see things for themselves. Now, does that mean we get to be mean to them and just tell them what we think or all that? No. We got to do it nicely, and we got to go about it ways that we don't hurt people's feelings and all that. We really do have to think of other people. We got to put other people's feelings ahead of our own. And it may be aggravating to Via, and she may be ready to just get over this, but she still got to think, Augie's got a long way to go and a lot to deal with, a lot more than she does. But does that mean she doesn't have problems? Heck no! She's got things to deal with too. She's in high school or middle school. High school, I think, is what she's in. So, man, she's got a lot of things to deal with too. I mean, you are in elementary school or intermediate school. You know we still have problems. As adults, we have issues too. Things just don't magically get better. So, maybe talking about our problems and our feelings, maybe that is a way to deal with things. But right now, Augie's not very good at that. Maybe he'll get better. We'll have to wait and see. Now, it's going to be tomorrow. I'll have one more read and all that, but we're posting things on Facebook, Dojo, Live Grades. Just be sure you're keeping up with us. And guys, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.